Welcome, everyone, to ExJW TV, ExJW News. What we're doing is grabbing Jehovah's Witness news from around the world and bringing it to light. Now, I'm here on my island. As you can see, I have the ocean behind me. So I've been using this as an illustration, our ExJW Island, over the last couple of my videos. At the end of the channel, we'll have a chance to highlight our channels. Ruby Quinn will be on with us today, she said. So I'll just get going on my news here to kick off the news broadcast for today. And what I was presenting, excuse me, today was we're going to take a look at watching Watchtower. And remember, they've changed how they're doing their news now. It's no longer as little videos. Well, you'll see a few videos, but they're doing it under community tabs. So we're just going to browse through watching Watchtower and see what they have spotted in their news. Now they've got there's an investigation into sex abuse rings operated in schools, Guardia. This is going on, folks, all over the world. This is social affairs, so welfare, child welfare has a lot of power. We're going to talk today about how the religions have really failed when it comes to looking after orphans and widows. So we're going to look at an article today on that. The UK government, there's proposals to make it easier for child sex abuse victims to bring civil claims. So they want this dealt with in the world. This is the whole world, folks. This is not Pennsylvania, Montana. This is the whole wide world that's coming down on all religions, and Jehovah's Witnesses are in the limelight. And as a result is the New Zealand. What's going on in the New Zealand inquiry? Remember, it started with the Australia ARC Commission. That's kicked it all off. This is just an extension. This is just, the ARC was just an investigation, get the governing body on the stand to tell the whole wide world that it would be presumptuous to think, it would be completely presumptuous to think that they're the chosen ones. Because the ARC asked them outright, are you the chosen ones? And Jeffrey Jackson says it would be presumptuous to say that. Jeffrey Jackson answered correctly. We're not beating the guy up. Who we're beating up is the governing body, because they're giving their people a different story. They're telling their people that the ARC was a facade. It was a lie. It's false news, fake news. That's what they tell their people. So that's why you guys come onto this channel. We have Ruby with us. Let's get Ruby on the stage here. Hi, Ruby. How are you doing?
Hello, everybody. Doing good. How are you?
Good. Everything going good there? Did we run the news a little quick here?
No, I told you on Discord that I was pulling up my articles, and then I had to put my wig on and everything. I was running a little for the right. I have all these wigs everywhere, so I have to get the right one.
Well, your news wig looks great, especially for the tropical background.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to join us on ExJW Island here. Have you watched my last couple of videos? I've been talking about ExJW Island.
No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to catch up.
Okay, no. At the end of the show, you and I are each gonna promo our channels a little bit, right? So okay. I'll throw a little promo in there for you guys, give you something to go and check out further. But I want to get back to this news wrap up here. I'm just going to quickly finish this up, and then you can have the floor for a bit here, Ruby. But so watching Watchtower, they pulled this thing up on New Zealand, and there's an update on response to the recommendations from the Royal Commission. So this is all coming out. Jehovah's Witnesses, if you click on that, they're case number 29. They're studying all the religions. Jehovah's Witnesses fought in court. They went to the Supreme Court many times on this, fighting. We're not part of it. We don't look after children. Then at the end, they said, we want to see that report before the general public does. And every time the Australian Commission, the New Zealand Commission, they keep giving the Watchtower the finger, quite literally the finger. They said no. They give them proper responses, of course, and they don't quite literally use the finger. But the way I look at it, the courts are not listening. You look at Brumley, what happened? A liar. Their lawyer's a liar. They're sanctioned for lies. They've been sanctioned. They had to pay it out. They went to appeals court, lost. They were kicked out. Now they're going to appeal it again. Brumley's going to appeal it again. I didn't know they could do that, but we'll be watching Watchtower. They'll be watching. Now this one is Jose. Is that how you say that? Jose Antonio Serrano. How's my Mexican?
Yep.
Ruby?
You got it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, this is a school. I think it is. It's a trial scheduled. No, that's a person. That's a person. So this is just another trial that's scheduled. This is the Pennsylvania one. If you're following the Pennsylvania one, you can come on to Watching Watchtower, click on these links, and you can follow all of these guys, these sex offenders. There's a ton of them. They're pulling out. This is just ongoing, folks, until they're done. This is a grand jury investigation. I'm not going to get into a lot of this stuff. We've heard a lot of it. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on here in Brazil. Were you talking about Brazil? That's not on your news docket, is it, Ruby?
Not today, because in a couple of previous episodes we covered some Brazilian JW and ExJW stuff.
Well, I'm going to just touch on it. I got the news articles actually pulled up, and then there's this one I was going to touch on, this Ireland inquiry into sexual abuse at schools run by religious orders. This is all happening all over the world. In Canada, the Pope had to come up here and apologize. There was mass burials of these residential schools that they set up at the time, and the Catholic Church had the contract all over the world all over the modern day world to run these orphanages. I have an article pulled up. We're going to look at how they're being pulled up in the limelight. They're being exposed because we're now in a time that everything is being exposed. Okay, well, there you go. Thanks for being patient with that little bit of a summary. Mm-hmm. But it's been nice out here on ExJW Island. We've been enjoying the peace, the tranquility. It's nice. Okay, Ruby. You're right in the city, aren't you?
In this what city?
You're right in the city, Tampa, Florida?
Oh, no, I'm like on the outskirts. No. But
so you have a little bit of country around you?
Yeah. So it's
nice.
The county is so huge that there's like 4 or 5 different areas within the county. So I'm all the way like
now my backdrop could be Florida, could it not? Those trees?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. The sky, the clouds, the beach.
This is your backyard, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But this is an island, remote, ExJW Island. We'll see it at the end of the show. Okay, Ruby, you take it away.
Okay,
we're gonna switch you around.
These are some of the stories that I had, like personal stories of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that, something either bad happened to them. It was either abuse or the 2-witness rule, CSA issues, SA issues, or shunning issues. So we talk about this a lot. So I'll just give the fair warning. If this is triggering for you, then you might want to skip it. But I think that it's important to highlight these stories because the media, the mainstream media in those countries have reported on it, which is really good. So these stories have been picked up, and I'm going to read a little bit about that, maybe just like the first page. about this one ExJW in France, and she goes by the name Alice Hope. She is from West France, and she tells her story about her exiting. And she also wrote a book. And the book I don't have the French title, but I will put a link to the article. So if anybody wants to dig deeper into her book, I don't have the title, but it is translated into English. And the title is Under Her Eye. And so let me share my screen. And it does deal with abuse. So once again, if that bothers you, please skip forward. Okay, so this is the story here, translated into English. She runs away from Jehovah's Witnesses and is banished by her family. One day, I exploded. So then it says, under the pseudonym Alice Hope, a resident of the Jura, recounts in her first book, Under Her Eye, her childhood with Jehovah's Witnesses, a life apart from others, the beatings and essay of her stepfather, the silence of her mother. At the age of 14, she brought out the truth, but then had to leave home. She will eventually find her way after plunging into petty crime. When she talks about her new life, her face lights up and you can hear a smile in her voice. Author Alice Hopes tries to rebuild herself and trust others again. But to reach this level of serenity, she had to put her painful family history on paper. She published her autobiography, Under His Eye, anonymously in the summer of 2023. And since then, her nightmares have ceased.
Brand new information.
Yeah. So this is really good because I feel like this also relates to us about rebuilding, about stepping away from our families. Like we really do have to cut them off if we want to move on with our lives. And if you have to write a book, do that. If you have to sing or write a song, do that. Like there's different forms of expression. So this is why I wanted to bring this up. It goes on and it says, Alice Hope was born into a family of Jehovah's Witnesses. Like her 4 brothers and 4 sisters, she was educated in the city's public school where the siblings did not go unnoticed. Girls can't wear pants, so we were always in long skirts. We looked like Mormons, she describes. There is no question of discussing the latest fashionable film with the classmates. We are not allowed to talk with the subjects of the world. That is to say, people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses, says Alice Hope, who prefers to remain anonymous. When the class celebrates a birthday, it is exfiltrated outside. We are not allowed to celebrate them like Christmas. So that's something that we've all been through. If you grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, you already know if there's a birthday, you go to the library, you remove yourself. You don't talk about the latest film, the latest trends or fashion. My mom used to send me into school with solid colors, no logos, no name brands. And you look really plain. You did not stand out in any shape or form. Very neutral colors and things like that. And my mom would always overdress me, or she would always put me in like baggy clothes. You don't want any clothes that was too form-fitting to your body. And that's how I grew up. It was really horrible. So when I was reading this the first time, I was like, "Ooh, this is really hitting close to home."
Well, this is good for me because I was the parent, one of the parents, dressing up the little kids to go to school and sit in the hallway or whatever when there's a birthday, or go to the library. We'd tell our kids to do that. We'd go in and with the teacher-parent interview and tell them what the situation was, and they'd be aware of it. And then the poor little kid, like you, like I never ever knew how the kid felt. Like my son, my daughter, they were just like you. So this is good for me to hear it from one of the kids that woke up. You're like one of my kids that woke up, and I guess. Well, my son already told me he woke up, he got out. He wasn't in it really, but he got baptized to have a car.
Wow.
And he was a smart kid. But he was never in it. He actually got out before I did. But anyways, you finish. Go ahead. I just think it's great hearing your
Yeah.
stories, Ruby, because it gives me perspective on how my kids perhaps
Right.
felt.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't think
exactly
of
how
that.
I feel with
Yeah.
Alice, because it's like it's like I'm reading another child that grew up the same way I did, and it's very relatable.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, one day at 14, I exploded. Little Alice Hope was a good student, spoke little, and did not socialize. I didn't want to be noticed. At home, our father-in-law hits us all the time. We had to be discreet so that he would forget us. Even for a look, he could hit us. He liked this violence, she says. Her mother, who joined Jehovah's Witnesses as a child, is not protective of her daughter or anyone else.
I'm coming back on.
She was depressed and spent her day in bed. The little girl grew up under the weight of prohibitions and beatings. Little by little, she sees her brothers and sisters flee from the family home. Only his half brother, his stepfather, and his mother remained. Oh, her. Okay, so they got the pronouns wrong. Um, the blows continue to rain down, and the essay becomes more and more violent. One day at 14, I exploded. It was the first day of my internship, and I was simply asked how I was doing. And I broke down because the night before had been traumatic. I revealed everything by talking about mistreatment, and SA, recalls the 34-year-old author. By breaking the law of silence that had been imposed on her since birth, she ruled out any possibility of returning home. If I came back, they were going to kill me. At the thought of going back, I started to have an anxiety attack. She was then sent from home to home. And that's the hard part, is because even though I didn't deal with that physical abuse or SA abuse, a lot of other of us in the community have. So they might be able to relate to this. But that right there is where this type of behavior and dysfunction really harbors in Jehovah Witness households. It's always, like this whole scenario always happens, and I keep hearing about it, and that's horrible, and it shouldn't. You should be able to speak up, and get
Yeah.
removed if you need to be removed. If your parent is not defending you, advocating for you, speaking up on your behalf, then they're not doing their job as a parent.
Yeah. Culty Talk said she remembers going to the library, and
Yep.
the teacher put a chair outside the classroom, had me sit there in the hallway while they celebrated a baby inside, and that was especially awkward. I felt punished. So I think a lot of the kids feel punished.
Because they're excluded.
Right, you're excluded. So you
Yeah.
don't feel like you fit in because you always have to exclude yourself, and it's worse because you're doing it to yourself. You have to speak up and say, raise your hand in the class and say, "Oh, I have to leave," and then they just give you a hall pass and you can go. But all of that right there, everybody's looking at you like, "Where are you going? We're gonna celebrate," So you feel really excluded from the rest of society in your classroom, wherever you are. So Alice Hope doesn't return home. So this one says, without family and on the street. At the age of 15, she preferred to flee her too violent home to live on the street with a few friends. To survive, we stole and burglarized houses, she
Wow.
admits. After a police check, she was forced to return to a home. She decided to enroll at the hotel school, and she passed a CAP Cafe Brazier, where she collaborates as a local press correspondent. She filed a complaint against her parents, but none of her brothers and sisters, um, all abused in their childhood, agreed to testify. My complaint was closed for lack of evidence, laments the writer, who now lives in the Jura. So that's pretty sad. I found that really interesting, that not even the brothers and sisters wanted to, testify on her behalf, that her abuse definitely happened and things like that. That's another red flag when you have a big family like this, and then they don't have your back in certain cases like this.
No.
That's not family, in my opinion. That's not somebody who you can trust. And that's how I feel with my other families as well. They were very abusive to my cousins, and they are open about that now. But even looking back, I'm like, why did our adults at the time, like my mother, my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother, why did they not call the police or go to the elders? Or why, if the elders knew about it, why didn't they call the police? But this abuse happened for their entire childhood, and we all witnessed it. Like even I did with my cousins. I saw the verbal abuse, I saw the physical abuse. And so I talk to my cousins and I'm like, I'm sorry you went through that. But if I was an adult during that time, I would have definitely called the police. We would have done something. But those adults at the time, they did nothing. And so that's
and
another.
that's the I think what's kind of changing is a lot of people, like, this is a fairly new article, 2023. A lot of people are speaking out now. There's the internet. We feel better. That's why we, look at your Tuesday show. You had, like, the whole panel was full for 3.5 hours. People want to talk.
Oh yeah.
People want to talk about subjects, different subjects, maybe about nothing, but people, we want to be together. And I think that's what's changing in the community is camaraderie. ExJWs are working together, and they're finding light. No longer do we have to sit in the darkness. No longer
by ourselves. Exactly.
That's
we are
scary
no
to the
longer
board.
excluded. Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's also because those certain particular topics we weren't allowed to talk about. So that's another thing. It's like normalizing these discussions and having an open panel, and then hearing all of our perspectives, because even if one of us has a contrary view, we would immediately shut it down. And it's like, we don't do that anymore. We can talk about it for 3 hours and we can all come away with something.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of good comments come from that. So let's take a look at a few I got some starred comments.
Okay.
Do you want to do that for a moment? Take a look at some starred comments. Okay.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Do you have any? Jane was on. She said she heard on TV, the TV show, that the Bachelorette Kelsey Toussaint became an ExJW in 2019.
Did you saw something like that? If I do a video on that, I would put my red wig on and I'll go on a rant about that. There's a lot of stuff like this. It's not just and I find it kind of weird because I don't trust like the media and things like that. So when certain people come up, like there was also a guy in the Olympics who said that he grew up in a cult and that it was really restrictive, and how his family was still in it, but he doesn't name the cult. And so a lot of people are, speculating of what could it be. And I see that. I could definitely jump to conclusions, but I don't want to do that. But like, it's happening too often. A lot, like you said, so many people are leaving and finally speaking out that I'm getting a little nervous. Like, oh my goodness, is it really for real that the thousands upon thousands are really leaving? So yeah, we have to dive into that.
Okay, my birthday. Well, I'm a scary person. On the horoscope of things, I'm October 24th.
Oh no, I have to look into that. I don't know nothing
October 24th.
About like horoscopes and things like that.
Yeah. I showed the book a couple times on the show about personology. It's called Personology. And it's kind of it's a thing, I guess. I researched it. Actually, I found a book in the dump. I went to the landfill. I was dumping my garbage. And in the big bin, there was all these books. I found this book, Personology, and I have it in all my junk somewhere. I don't know where it is. But anyways, I looked at myself in there, and bang, it was bang on. It was bang on. It said I should be in law enforcement or something like that. And that's what I did all my life. I was a fire alarm inspector. Very serious job. You go in, it's really meticulous, and you look for ground faults, all kinds of issues. That's what I did my whole life. I was in the security business my whole life. That's what the book said.
Right.
I'm a meticulous type person. I like detail. Now, you want to know what the book said about you? I read it.
No, okay. Well, before you say anything, I do know that okay, so I was born in May 3rd. So my birthday passed Jane, because her other comment was when was my birthday. And I did like a whole birthday stream, if anybody remembers that. That was really fun. So I know that I'm a Taurus. And when I looked up certain things about Tauruses, being very headstrong, being very stubborn, and I clash a lot with other signs and things like that. I think it's a fire sign or something like that. Like, I'm so confused with that kind of stuff, but I do agree with it that my personality falls a line with the Taurus.
Yeah, it actually
sign.
said when I read the personality about you, it said you'd be a good psychologist.
Wow.
That's what it said. And I've been watching you, and you naturally do it. Like, I have to force myself to do it, but you naturally, like, to come online and talk to people. And like, I know on your show you say, okay, 3 minutes is up, let's move on. I thought that was brilliant. That's like just natural abilities. So keep it up.
Awesome.
Anyways, we're going to move forward. Jane wanted to know to October 24th is my birthday. They wanted to know yours too.
Mine is May 3rd.
May 3rd.
Huh? So she is a Taurus.
So you're a Taurus. You're a bull. Bull in a China shop. No, I'm just teasing. You're probably very delicate. Now, Beverly, hello. I'm just saying the hellos here. Rachel, Culty Talk, hello. We have San Diego, hello. He was the first comment. Okay, there's all the comments starred. So should I carry on with my next part?
Yes. So if anybody wants to read that story and find her book, because I think it's in French, I will link it after the live is over in the description.
Now, we're about halfway in. Did you want to play your commercial? You have a commercial you run for people for ExJWs, right?
Yeah.
Did you want to run that on the show halfway in?
Sure, yeah. If you want to play it, yeah, you can use it whenever you want.
Well, this, we're not playing YouTube commercials. Everyone's watching commercials. This is a promo that Ruby did for an ExJW that's trying to run a business. So really watch it and see if you guys can help support this ExJW. And you know what it's like when you get out of the Borg and you lose all your contacts. Maybe all your contacts was your whole livelihood. So here it is. I think this is brilliant. We start supporting our ExJW community. Here it is. We'll run the commercial.
Courtesy of the Loungers Club, I was gifted some merch, and I am more than happy to do a promotional video for the brand, especially since they are a fellow ExJW and small business owner. So let's get to know the company. The Loungers Club is a lifestyle clothing brand that promotes relaxation and comfort, weekend getaways, vacation, and just a stress-free lifestyle in general. Inspired by a cherished family heirloom, it became the symbol of their mission to create comfortable, stylish clothing that encourages people to slow down, unwind, and to savor life's little moments. From beachside picnics to late-night fireside chats, the Loungers Club invites everyone to embrace comfort, leisure, and positive vibes. The brand offers versatile clothing and accessories for men, women, and children. Please go check them out at theloungersclub.com.
There you go.
Awesome.
Great. That's great. I thought, okay, here's a message to all the ExJWs out there. If you have a little business and you want to get promoting it, send Ruby or myself a message. And we're creators, and we talk online. We feel comfortable with that, so we can actually do up a commercial for you, help you out a bit. It's fun. I found it fun. Do you find it fun?
Oh yeah, I had a blast doing that one. Yep.
Okay, well here let's have a blast. I'm going to move on to this one. Jehovah's Witnesses bus catches fire in Acapulco. Have you heard that one?
No.
Well, you know how the Jehovah's Witnesses sometimes they rent a bus to go on to their assemblies? Well, this is what happened here.
Okay, yeah, we used to do that in New York.
Catches fire in Acapulco.
burnt, eh?
Acapulco, Guerrero. August 23, 2024, a bus carrying 48 Jehovah's Witnesses caught fire this morning in Acapulco, causing material losses but no fatalities.
Yeah, so it caught.
According
I'm just
to
gonna silence that. So it caught fire. The driver, they thought perhaps it was some kind of a mischief. Someone was trying to plant some kind of a thing. The bus kind of caught fire really quick, and it burnt up everybody's stuff. Like, could you imagine all the laptops are on their way to the assembly, all the tablets, in the carry-on? And these guys rented this bus. Well, it was completely engulfed in flames, and the people all got off, and they got another bus in and got them to the assembly, but all their stuff was burnt. Wow. And so they're actually investigating this because they want to find out. They're wondering if it could be foul play. They don't know yet. It's under investigation. I thought that was an interesting piece of news.
Oh my God.
There it is. They're putting that thing out. The motor caught. The motor's at the back of the bus, right? So
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they're spraying it. And so okay. Well, the next one is the Supreme Court of Brazil. They're looking into JWs and the blood transfusion. And we kind of covered that a bit, but this is a whole country that's looking into Jehovah's Witnesses and the blood transfusion. So it went to the Supreme Federal Court, and let's just read this little bit here. The highest, blah, 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 one of its main attributes. Okay, doesn't say anything. That one doesn't say anything. Okay, here it is. This is Brazil. Also, Jehovah's Witness magazine praises young people who refuse blood transfusions.
Yep.
So it went to the court. This article was done up by the news there, and they cover how Jehovah's Witnesses make these children look like heroes, and they die. These are all kids that gave up their lives, right? It's like exonerating and making heroes out of people that self-suicide. And these are children. These children, like, look at my son. My son was baptized, was in it, played the gig, and then when he was 18, he decided he didn't want it. 18, 19, 20. He was about 20. And he said, yeah, it's not for me. I'm not going back. And I said, good. I quit too. I quit at the same time, basically. We rented, my son and I actually rented because my ex and I were fighting about all this. And so we rented a townhouse together, my son and I, for a year. And we lived together. I had a bedroom in it. He had the whole place. It was in his name, but I was a co-renter to help him get going. And so I stayed there and I worked, and I did that for about a year until I transitioned out to the farm with my folks. And that's kind of how that all went down. But I get it. This blood transfusion is getting looked into. My son, there was a situation. He was a baby. They thought were going to have to do something spinal, which regarded blood, spinal tap. He had some issue. And it was dicey. I was a JW. So I'm totally for Brazil, and what they're doing is this newspaper article is showing the Awake magazines. They're really exposing JW.org in Brazil. That's what's going on here. This is a big exposure, and it's nothing new to us. This blood card here, that they make everyone sign. Everyone's coerced into it. Everyone stands up and signs it because the elders do. No one really thinks twice about signing that darn card. That you're signing over your life to the HLC. They become they can take over the Watchtower if you're in a situation. So that blood card needs to be destroyed. Never carry that with you. And what they go on to, they put Jehovah's Witnesses in public. What do they say? Well, in note, they said from the PDI department. PID department, Jehovah's Witnesses. They say states that the judgment brings a possibility of convergence between the legitimate needs of this religious group and the rest of the public for the entire community, providing efficient, welcoming, and economically sustainable public health. That was their reply. The whole thing is about why is the state, why are the taxpayers providing extra money to Jehovah's Witnesses to seek out blood-free medicine because of their religious doctrine? Why? Why do we as taxpayers have to pay for that? That's what this is all about. So anyways, that's that.
Okay. Oh, wait, Vern. Go back to the link. Can you scroll back up to where it has the article? Because I think it had images of the other pages of that article. And I was also going to ask anybody in the chat. Oh, right there. You passed it. You passed it. Go back down. Go back down to the middle. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Right there. So that's in their language, right? Has anybody read the English one? Or does anybody have it? Like, I'm interested in actually reading that because I've never read it.
Okay, well, I got this all off of this thumbnail off Watchtower, and I just went down to the more, and it gives you all the links to these articles.
Okay.
Do you read? Can you read Spanish?
Website has it? If anybody in the chat knows, let me know if JW.org has that article because it is haunting them. So I don't know if they have it on their website, but I would love to actually read it in English.
See, this is putting people out as martyrs. This is what this is showing. All these young people are martyrs.
Yep.
The whole world's looking at this, and this is so important because people are giving their lives up for this religion. That's my number one reason for leaving is this religion could cost you your life. And it's over what? It's over 9 men in New York who want to control you. It's not over anything else. That's a conscientious matter. How people get medical treatment. It's nothing to do with religious organizations.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Did you want to do any? No, I got a few more articles here, but
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the next one is it's time to seize church assets and pay readdress. So calls have been made to seize church assets. This is what's happening. All over the world. This particular one is in LaSalle National School in this big long name there. I can't pronounce half this stuff. But it's going on. I thought that was worth noting. So they're seizing assets. Now I want to talk about this for a minute, folks. Church assets and pay readdress. This is what's going on in the world. Do you notice what JW.org is doing, folks? Do you notice that? They started 3 new companies in Ireland, and it's designed to sell off assets of JW.org and sink the assets into liquid cash. And the liquid cash resides in these 3 companies in Ireland. Now, a lot of big companies all over the world, like Johnson Control, a lot of big companies are going to Ireland to run their head offices. Why? Taxes, the rules are easy. Even Avoid JW, Watchtower can't touch them. They're in Ireland. Void JW. They published the Elders book, the Secret Elders book online. That's where we get it from. So Ireland is a big thing. So that's how I believe JW.org, all these churches are going to bankrupt themselves. They'll have a few churches going. A couple dioceses went bankrupt in Pennsylvania already to pay off CSA. So JW.org is selling off assets. They're selling off all their kingdom halls. Their people are diminishing. Jonathan from ExJW Awake, he's from Canada, and we were at Bethel recently. Bethel produced this map, and they're very proud of it. It's a proto build, 65 seats. So they brought their proto builds, how they build kingdom halls, down from 150 seats. That's how it was, 150 seats. They were ready for growth, right? You get about 100 people in there. We have 150 seats. We usually filled that with 200 people at Memorial Time, but no more. 65 seats, and that's only if you sit on the women and the men's washroom seats. If you're sitting on the toilets, it's the only way you can count. He counted all the seats. He did a good job, but that's what's going on. JW.org is selling off assets left and right, and they're sinking into liquid cash in Ireland. Why? My supposition is to evade paying off CSA, paying off readdress, because this is coming. This is coming big time. Okay, this is another one. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, sure. And I could stay until like 3 p.m. my time, and I only have one more story to go over, and then I can go. So go ahead.
So here it is. This is just confirmation of that article. Local calls for seizure of church assets over school abuse allegations. So here's your church assets. Well, what's that? That's calls have been made from Sligo for church assets to be seized and put towards the readdress scheme for survivors of sexual abuse from these religious schools. These are these schools that were run by religions, schools to house orphans and so forth, kids, children. Up here in Canada, they actually went into the native reserves and they robbed the native reserves of their children and put them into these homes. So Canada had a big problem, and the government had to do a payout with the Catholic Church and other churches. All the other churches were involved. It was just, I ran an article on this a year or so ago, but it's all coming out all over the world. Ireland is set up to inquire into sexual abuse at schools run by religious orders. 2,400 allegations of historic abuse. So I was looking at some of this. These guys are just talking about coming in. Older people, our age, my age, are coming in and saying, look, I had to deal with abuse my whole life and nothing's being done. Nothing's being done. Well, finally, it's coming out. This is all hitting the news. And so all over the world, we have this happening. Here it is, another one, scoping inquiry into historical sex abuse into schools run by religious orders. So all these Catholic-run schools, Protestant-run schools, they're getting hit hard. There was so much abuse in them. That's why today, orphans and widows, and I ran this on one of my other programs, they're being looked after by government agencies. They're no longer being looked after by religions. So how do religions, this is my question, how do religions justify their existence? If you read in the New Testament in James 1:27, where it says, a religion that is pure and undefiled before God is to look after orphans and widows. And what did Jesus do? When there was a dispute amongst the disciples, who was greatest amongst them, he brought in the children, put a children on his knee and said, look at the children. Be humble. Right. Like the children. That was the lesson. So we don't see that with these religions. They weren't following anything Christ-like when they're abusing kids. And that's all come to light. The payouts are coming, but I think they're going to be sinking. They're hiding assets or sinking assets, getting rid of cash. That's what the JW org, that's what our job is, to expose them. And that's what they're doing. I think this is a subject that's just opening up for discussion. They just announced, someone, I think Avoid JW or someone was doing the research. And this is brand new news, August 2024, that JW.org started these 3 companies in Ireland. I think this has to be ongoing discussions. I think perhaps they're going to try bragging about this at their annual meeting. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen any announcement yet. Now, I was going to show you guys a little bit of the Twitter feed that there was some interesting stuff I was looking at. I don't have a chance to read everything, but perhaps some of you guys in the comments do.
Yeah, I'm always on Twitter. It's one of my favorite platforms.
Yeah. Who's this? Bruce Hurt said that the state where I live, in Australia, has just instituted coercive control laws. Yep. It's going to get interesting. I think it is, Bruce. Good comment. Now, JW.org's their latest awake is another planned propaganda piece that could be used to show courts and governments that JWs deserve tax-free status as they are useful to society. Dumbed down Bible texts with clearly marked "What are we doing?" labels. It's all about Watchtower and not the Bible. So take a look at this, folks, this latest awake. And it's showing our Bible course. We adhere to strict safety standards in our construction projects.
Can you click on it to bring it bigger? Is it like 4 different pictures or just one big thing? Okay, yeah, perfect. So you can go to the other one.
That's all I can do. So then I can go like that.
What we are doing? What? I mean, I haven't seen publications in like 6 years. So this is for me as well.
So no, I don't watch them either. And so that I go through Twitter and people, as they wake up, they post this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So what has happened to respect? This is the issue of the awake. He circled what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing to help your community.
Mm-hmm. I would like to know what are they doing to help our community? Let's find out.
They're helping that old lady off the bus there. See that? You know, that's in the awake. They're going to show you that. Look at what we do. We help old people off the bus. That's what we do. Anyways, you know what would be nice if they can't say this. We just donated $1 billion. We just gave it away to various charities that help the poor. What if they could say that? You see, the Mormons did that. The Mormons can say that this year because they did it this year because they wanted to. The Mormons are smart. They wanted to get out. You know, let's just take $1 billion, throw it out there to a bunch of charities, make ourselves look good, and maybe they won't look closely at our CSA problem. You see the tactic of religions? The Mormons are playing a little bit different one. But here are the Jehovah's Witnesses. What are you guys doing? We're helping old people off the bus.
No. We got to see what they actually say. We got to see. Click next.
Okay, what are we doing? Well, our Bible course, we offer free interactive Bible course.
Oh, stop it.
I covered that on my last video because they have that all over their website now. It's a special campaign for this Bible course, and it's all about Jesus, right? Simply. They're trying to be a Jesus religion like the Mormons. So I brought up the Elders book. And the Elders book says, put aside Jesus when you have questions. You have to listen to the faithful slave. Right at the beginning. So the Jesus stuff, you know, what they put out on their website is one thing, and what really happens behind the scenes is what the Elders book says. And that's our job. That's what we do. We expose, right?
Yep.
So JW Org in their wake says, what are we doing? It's all about them. We promote a balanced, healthy lifestyle. Okay. They haven't done anything. We adhere to safety standards. Oh, wait. We provide humanitarian assistance. During a recent 12-month period, we responded to some 200 life-threatening disasters worldwide and spent nearly $12 million of donated funds to provide relief for victims. 12 million.
Receipts for that. For me to believe that, I need receipts.
12 million is not much up against 1 billion. The Mormons threw out 1 billion. Plus, the Mormons looked after their humanity. I'm not promoting Mormons here, by the way, folks. I'm just saying these are two close-knit religions that kind of compete. And I think JW Org is losing.
Look at Colty talk. She goes, what? Liars.
So then they go, when the Ebola outbreaks began to develop the population of West Africa in 2014, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo in 2018, we educated people on how to prevent the spread of the deadly disease. We sent representatives to speak to groups on the subject. Obedience saves lives. Remember, that's how they pitched the vaccines, eh? Remember?
I was just about to say that. And you know what? I don't want to sound offensive or anything like that, but why is it that every single time they talk about charity, they have to show Africa or African brothers or like third world countries? Like, why do they always do that? Why don't they help like first world countries or like your local community? Because this is an American religion. So why are they always like doing that?
You can read through that. They never did dick in those countries. They went in to their Bethels and their kingdom halls, and they gave a few talks, and they invited the population in. That's all they did. They educated people? No, they educated their own people. That's what they did. Right. You see, they twist these articles. This is a twist.
But they always want to make it. They always want to make charity seem like the only people who are poor and need help is African countries, as if that's what charity is supposed to look like. Like, why? It just seems a little, I don't know, like I don't want to say like stereotypical or anything like that, but like they always have to depict either African American brothers or African countries that need charity. Like I just don't like that.
Isn't there a saying that says charity begins at home?
Charity begins at home. Isn't there a saying? My good wife
I
says
agree
charity
with
begins
that.
at home. Yeah, they're not doing it. If you're an orphan or a widow, you're sent to the food bank, public food bank here in Canada. Now, here's another one. What are we doing? They encourage family for married couples, blah, 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 for parents. They have different. See, it's all about them pushing their literature. This is pushing their literature. This other one, they went and had assemblies, and obedience saves lives. They had their just standard assemblies all over the world, and they threw in obedience saves lives so they could say, we sent representatives down. They sent governing bodies down maybe, or someone down from New York on a first class ticket and put them up in a air conditioned Hilton hotel, and probably, or maybe they stayed at the Bethel. I'm not going to knock it. Those Bethels are 5-star. They are clean.
Yeah, because they're going to have the suite in the Bethel. They're going to have the top floor. They're going to have the open window, the view. They build these things for them. And we always
I think there's security issues too. I don't think they can stay at kind of hotels. They have to be rushed into their Bethels, and the gates have to be closed. You know, people will be chasing them, throwing tomatoes at them, and I could just imagine what's coming next. Now, so this is a bunch of fluff. I'm going to get out of this. That's what, thanks to, who posted that? The next one's for you. Well, that's Fade to X. Thanks, Fade to X, for posting that. And keep up the good work. Here's another one. This one, I think, the Court of New Jersey.
Oh, yes.
Taking
I
care
follow them as well.
Do you follow that one?
Yep, this is where I get most of my news from, but I haven't dived into this yet, and I'm gonna have to save it for a different stream because I have like a premiere coming up that I have to join. But yes, that's interesting.
Did not leave it.
Write that down.
Okay, and this guy or whoever posted this put a little video in here. The governing body, and what is that? This is the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses and the Fair Lawn Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Negatively, or how do you say that? Negligently.
Yep, negligently.
Retained him as an elder, a spiritual leader and mentor. And the defendants knew incidents of sexual abuse by their agents was prevalent within the organization, nevertheless protected Charles and other sex abusers from criminal prosecution through mandated secrecy policies and practices. So the elders are protected from criminal activities by their knowledge. They don't report. And that's because of the elders book, mandated secrecy policies and practices.
Which you cover on Mondays, I believe, right? Because I
remember his words. The Watchtower said, notice that Jehovah did not leave it up to the human judges in Israel to enforce this law. God himself would execute judgment upon anyone who took advantage of a defenseless child. This is how personally Jehovah takes the care of the lowly, disadvantaged ones. They become his responsibility. They come under his protection. Jehovah personally makes up for any disadvantage they may have.
Okay, now they've been pitching this, Jeffrey Winder. He did this just on the last broadcast regarding orphans and widows. I ran a video on that, and he pitched it the same way as this is not our responsibility, folks. This is Jehovah's responsibility. The CSA, the child, it's not our responsibility. This is Jehovah's. He will take care of it. He's going to judge it. If it's not done now, it'll be done at Armageddon. So they're going to stand back, and they want the courts to prosecute the hell out of the elders, perhaps. But they are standing up for their secrecy, and they are coming to court, and they are trying to hide it. And this, here's a contradiction. We see this in court, how they're hiding, they're going to court and hiding all this stuff, trying to fight it. But yet
Yes. Okay.
they
Yep.
say something different. Online, they say something different. Now, this person in New Zealand says, I wasn't believed because of the 2-witness rule. Where's your other witness, they asked. What a farce, eh? Former Jehovah's Witness findings of credible evidence of abuse. It's all over. Just so much of this stuff now. Irish Jehovah's Witness sets up 3 financial management companies within the last few months. Lester brought this out. A couple of people have. Now, this one's for you, Jimmy Bill.
Okay.
Did you hear this one?
I don't think so.
To give a language warning.
Okay, I don't know. There's a language warning on this, so I'll put it up. I'll let it play. I'll pause it. You haven't heard this? It's about UFOs. This is about UFOs.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. You ready?
Yes.
Oh my God, aliens are real. The government confirmed it. Are you panicking? Are you panicking? No, bitch, I've been in an existential crisis since I was 3 years old. I've got anxiety, okay? All of the maybes, maybe nots, and the possibilities have already ran through my fucking mind, taken a couple spins around there and ran the fuck out. I've accepted it, okay? I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is when them alien bitches pull up, if they're gonna let me hop on that ship, okay? Load me the fuck up. All aboard. Sign me up. I want to come with. Give me 15 minutes. I need to grab my toddler, my husband, and my 2 dogs, and we will leave. We will bounce. Sayonara, bitches, okay? I know you have something better than Lexapro up there or wherever the fuck you are. I know you do. I want to come with you. I don't want to stay here. The planet's dying, okay? It's fucking hot here. Taxes suck. Healthcare sucks. Eggs are like super expensive right now, okay? I want to go on that fucking ship. Let me in there. What do I have to do? Do you want to probe me? Go ahead. I've been getting fucked by America for like 23 years now. I don't want to probe me. Just let me on the ship. Just let me on the fucking ship, you little alien bitch. Let me on there. Please. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Thanks to Jimmy Bill. Jimmy, he's dying laughing this. So this alien stuff is big news, right? Okay, that's all I have. That's kind of all I have. The only other thing is you and I are going to do a self promo. Do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Share your screen, show your channel. This is a self promo. We talk about lots of other people, lots of other channels. Let's take a minute today and let's do a self promo. This is Ruby Quinn, and she's going to show her channel. Show you guys what she does.
So I think I started this about 8-9 months ago. I mean, I haven't been keeping track of time, but I am so glad that I finally pushed myself to do this, and I pushed myself to do the ExJW political corner. So I recently just changed my banner too. So you see up here, it says live shows every Tuesdays, which is the ExJW political corner, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Fridays, I put ExJW news, and I didn't put a time because we're flexible. We're very flexible with the Friday news stuff. But if we have a set time, then I'll just like change it later. Okay, so this is my live section, my live tab. I have a couple of things that are coming up. I have a watch party, the presidential debate, which is with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I'm super excited about that one. Then I also have another show coming up about 9/11. We did the one about the UFOs. So these are the certain types of topics that I'm diving into, and I already got a warning from YouTube to not talk about certain things. So now I know I'm on the right track. I'm going to continue to talk about these things. And whoever wants to join me, I always put the link in the chat. I always have an open platform. My video tabs, I have a premiere coming up in 30 minutes, actually. Chakayumba and I collaborated about if Jehovah's Witnesses can be shunned for voting. And of course, you already know I said yes, but we really dive into it. And then Chakayumba gives his perspective. And you might be shocked what you see in the Elders book. And you probably already know about it because you cover this a lot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I just uploaded a new short right here, which is when I asked my mother, and if I don't know if you were watching along, Vern, but I called my mom
Yeah, I
during
watched that. I seen that,
yeah.
and she kind of hung up on you.
Yes, so it was very impulsive of me to do that, but since I don't care anymore, I do it like to spite her because I know that she's gonna get annoyed. She's gonna, like I'm a waste of her time and stuff like that. But I didn't think that she was gonna pick up the phone, so I did this short, and I can just play it really quickly because it's just
Sure, go ahead, play it.
Do you believe in aliens, or maybe like other planets have like life forms, or like if we're not the only ones that exist in the universe? So you just believe that like we just exist and nothing else exists?
So that's it.
Really? Okay. No, I just wanted to ask you. That's all. Just wanted to ask you because I've been thinking about it and I just wasn't sure and stuff like that.
You sound wild. Okay, you sound wild.
No, I have you on speaker.
The tone. It's the tone.
An attitude? No, I'm just asking you a question.
You sound like you're wired up.
I'm not wired up. I'm not the FBI. I'm just asking you a question. If you believe in aliens or not.
Like defensive.
Defensive. Okay. So if you I made it into a short because I think that was so I'm still shocked that even happened, right?
But well, right out the gate, did your mom's, you said, do you believe in aliens? And she said no, and then she went on to say a bunch of other stuff, right?
Well, first she said, you sound wired up. And then that's why I have you on speaker, because she probably thinks like I'm recording her, or like there's this alternative motive of why I'm calling her. Like there's always a hidden agenda with me. And I'm like, no, like I'm not the FBI. So then she goes on to say, that's it. I'm not going to talk about this with you. And then she says, well, now you have an attitude. And I'm like, an attitude? I just asked you a simple question. I don't have an attitude. And then she goes, yeah, you sound really defensive. And I was like, defensive? Like I was just repeating everything that she was saying because I was in shock that I literally just asked her one question. Do you believe in aliens or not? Because I've been thinking about it. It's something that I'm curious about. So that right there shows you how Jehovah's Witness parents treat their children that are no longer believing the same thing that they do, or that they don't go to meetings anymore. They literally do not have the time for you. It's like, why are you even calling me? Why are you wasting my time? You know that I don't believe in that. I only believe what the Bible teaches me. And I'm like, yes, but I'm asking you like personally. So if you want to see the full entirety of that, you can go to my channel and see that. But that's just a small short that I was able to create.
No, that was great. That's exactly, I watched that whole UFO shows because I was interested. When I left JW.org 2012, I kept going up north, and I had a friend up there. He was Bible study, actually. I quit studying with him, but him and I, we'd sit at his place. He had satellite TV, and we'd watch Ancient Aliens. And I'd always fall asleep during it. I think my brain just shut me down. But it was brand new for me. That was back then, and I exposed myself to it. I walked away, and he was interested. So we'd have a lot of discussions. And, over the years, the Anunnaki stuff came in, the Samaritan tablets. There's a lot of info out there, a lot of scholars out there now talking about it. They're looking at the Bible differently now, and they're saying that, if you read Deuteronomy 32:8-9, you can see that the Israelites' God, Yahweh, was one of many gods. And his portion was the nation of Israel. That was his portion that he was to rule. And then there were 70 children, apparently, or 70. Abraham had a lot of kids. Is that right? Did I get that right? I don't know. But anyways, there's a lot to learn. That's all I know. I don't know much. Once I start opening up and sticking my head outside of the box, there's a lot out there. But don't be afraid. Do a little bit at a time. You dirty dog. Yeah. No, I watched Ancient Aliens.
Yeah,
It's
but
interesting stuff. I watch History Channel and stuff like that. There's some interesting stuff. There's some things on Earth that you can't explain, right? People are trying to explain them. Religions can't explain them. The Watchtower just demonizes it all. But that once we've gotten out of the Watchtower, we don't accept that. We don't accept that everything's just demonized. So, anyways, I was going to show you guys on my channel. This is it. This is what it looks like if you go to the channel. And if you go in its home, you'll come into the home screen. It starts sometimes talking to you. But you click videos. If you click videos, that's where all the videos are. If you want to click lives, I don't do a lot of shorts, but if you click lives, that's where all the lives are. But if you click videos, I do videos. My goal when I started was doing a video a day, just kind of like checking in with the community. So I'm doing something a little different now on these two videos. This one is my very last one, and it was on the JW.org campaign to discredit political and religious and healthcare. It's really a campaign they're running, discrediting, well, demonizing the world. This is how they're getting people into it, accepting them. This is 5 reasons I've left, and I started out with a blank screen. So I'm going to give you this one. Just let's look at it together. Bear with me. It's a blank screen. It's you and me again. We're in the dark. It feels dark out. It just feels like yesterday. I was on the Jehovah's Witness cruise ship. It was the Ark. They told us that there was only one Ark. That there wasn't multiple ways to, I guess, get into the news system. So, it was just yesterday I felt like I could see everything, the shipwreck, people leaving the religion. And it just keeps playing over and over in my mind. That last scene when I walked out of the Kingdom Hall. And then we end up floating in darkness. It seems like forever. It did for me, and then something happened. Something happened. I'm here. But what happened is I ended up finding out that there's a bunch of us, and it's like we're all stranded on an island together. We kind of making our own waves. We're throwing in our own music, and there's lots of us here. So if you look at the end of the island, behind me there, that's where Ruby and all her fans hang out. They talk about politics and stuff. And then over just behind me over here, Joe and Fran, they have a Wednesday night show, and like everyone shows up for the Wednesday night show. So it's this ExJW island that we're all together on, metaphorically. It's quite unique, and if you go across the island, there's other channels that you might get to know and like, other ExJWs. So we're all here. We're all kind of supporting one another, getting to know one another. And the one thing that it seems like is all over the world is the internet. It's free. We're even getting it on this island. And when I plug into jw.org, this is what I get today. So that's kind of how I start out, and then I get into the JW.org thing. We compared it. We looked at the Elders book and stuff, and then at the end. Okay, at the end, here's the end. Do you have an ending, Ruby? We could play this as an ending.
Yes,
we could play
go
this
ahead.
as an ending. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. We're going to call this an ending.
Yes,
And thanks,
thank
Ruby, for
you.
coming on. I'll be looking forward to seeing your show coming up in a few minutes. So here we go. I'm going to blow this up. Now, if we come off the screen, I'll just blow it right up. And here we are. Now, we're still talking. We can still hear you. But here's what you can do. You can come onto our island here, ExJW Friends. We can throw some music on. And I like music. I think it's good for the soul. I think, sitting by the oceans, listening to the waves, any of that stuff is good for the soul. And what we do here that's good for the soul on this channel is every Wednesday night. Last night there was like 4 hours of discussions. The panel was full. The screen was full of people wanting to talk. And it's a wonderful show. It's a place that we come to on this ExJW island. And we come from all over. And we get together every Wednesday night and we chat and we talk about things. And now Ruby Quinn, she's broadcasting on our channel as well, and she's doing a number of things. Last Tuesday, she was talking about UFOs, and the panel was full again, and it went for 3.5 hours, and they did not want to stop speaking. She's going to do some more of that, and the channel is really helping a lot of us to not be in the dark, to be somewhere and with friends. So that's what this is all about, folks. We invite you to subscribe and to share this channel with others, because that's what helps grow it, and YouTube works on those types of algorithms. So stay with us. We'll see you on the next video, and remember, keep living each day with love, and it'll make a world of a difference. It'll pull all that love into you. And be careful, because you might not be prepared for it all. There's a lot of love out there. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.